The last time we spoke, I decided to talk about the different templates in the Dresden Files RPG. Those being the different kinds of characters you can play and what supernatural abilities or mortal stunts you need to take them. So, let's go over some terminology here. Refresh is, when it comes down to it, the amount of fate points you have to play around with. At character creation, you're going to take your refresh and spend it on mortal stunts and supernatural powers. And for the most part, you're going to be following a template, most likely, although not necessarily. So you get your refresh, and it's going to be anywhere from like 2 to 10, depending on the power level of your campaign. I like to play with 10, but then there's not many things that the PCs have trouble dealing with, really. So you're going to spend your refresh. However, your refresh can never go below 1. If your refresh would ever go below 1, well, that's no longer a player character, that's an NPC. That's something that's far too powerful to be considered any kind of choice-wielding mortal. So the difference between a mortal stunt and a supernatural power, as far as game mechanics go, is that a supernatural power is classified as anything that is impossible for a human to do. A mortal stunt, when it comes down to functionality, just alters the way or gives you a bonus to one of the skills that you'll be using throughout the game, like driving, athletics, or awareness. So a mortal stunt, they give you a few, but for the most part, you're encouraged to come up with your own and really work with your game master to figure out what you'd like to do with that. In our game, we had a pure mortal who was an ace reporter, and we had worked together to create several mortal stunts that would help her kind of get the story easier, build a rapport with the community faster, bribe people if need be. It was a good time. So a pure mortal as a template may only take mortal stunts, not supernatural powers. Remember, a pure mortal gets a bonus 2 refresh at character creation. As soon as you take a supernatural power, that goes out the window. So, a supernatural power, while you can create these yourself, I feel that the book provides so many options for you and your players that it's not even going to be an issue. And if somebody wants to push it, fine, help them come up with one. It's not a big deal. Most supernatural powers, remember, they're going to be things that a human cannot do, are going to cost between 1 and 6 refresh. 1 refresh means that it's kind of the same functionality as a mortal stunt. 2 is that it's better than that, but not quite good. The guidelines in the book for creating these yourselves are there, but they could be a lot more detailed, in my opinion. It's one of the few things that the book fails at, is really hammering in how to make all this stuff yourself and balance it out appropriately. But that said, this isn't a game of balance, this is the Dresden Files RPG. So with that, the final thing that I'd like to leave you with today is at character creation, you do not have to spend all of your refresh down to 1. In fact, I would highly encourage you to hang on to 2 or even 3 refresh, because your refresh is the minimum amount of fate points you'll get between sessions, or at least what you'll start with at the next session. And it's very important that you have fate points to play around with. Otherwise, you're going to be at the mercy of the GM and the other players. With that, thank you very much for watching, and have a magical rest of your day.